Hello everyone, Mr. G again. So we now need to create this in the 3D. You'll notice it's a 2D sketch, okay? Like a drawing on a piece of paper. It's got no thickness effectively, or very negligible thickness. I've been talking for a long time, so I apologize when I mumble words or muck them up slightly. It's my throat's quite sore. So to create a 3D shape, we need to use a create tool or a modify tool. We can use a create tool. We can use the extrude tool. So I'm just going to select extrude. First thing it asks us to do with this kind of icon here when it's selected blue, it means that you're going to create, or what you're going to click on applies to this. So we need to select a profile like we talked about. Now I can't select this box anymore because I created one edge of it open, so it's not a closed profile, but I can select our boomerang shape. Ta-da! And then I can also select all those little chevrons. Can you suddenly see how we go from a 2D to a 3D shape? Awesome, awesome stuff. Now I'm going to just slightly reduce the distance that this is created at. I only want it to be 3mm, because that's actually the thickness of the material we're using. Then I'm going to click OK, and you can see I've got this nice little kind of pattern. Right? Cool. So all I've got to do now is then utilize another pattern tool, this time a circular pattern tool, to create a fully 3D and finished design. Awesome. So to do this, we're going to select the circular pattern tool here, and this is where it's important to have the other sides of yours obviously finished and basically in the same shape. I'm going to select the features here. By selecting the pattern solid, I'm just going to select here, and then I'm going to go to the rotation axes, and this is where you've got to select that axis that we had visualized before, the Z axis. So I'm going to go back to the screen here and select Z. You can see now how this should be 6 and 360 degrees. You end up with this very quickly, this whole snowflake design done. Now I'm going to go OK, and it's now created my full snowflake. You'll notice that it's a lot thicker than you would have thought because the 2mm that taper have joined up. And because I only put my chevrons on one side, it's obviously lopsided. It's a bit disappointing, but that's okay. So now with my 3D kind of model, I just need to add the little bit at the top on one of them, which will enable me to, or the hole, to thread this and thus hang it on a tree or somewhere else around the house. To do that, I'm just going to go 2D sketch. I'm going to then select the top surface here. I'm going to just click front so it like kind of goes flat again. I'm going to zoom in slightly and I'm just going to create a circle. So I'm going to create the circle tool. I'm going to hover over this line until I get a green like link that's linking to the midpoint of that line, and I'm just going to create maybe a 5mm circle, right? So clicking 5 and then enter. That's all I'm doing, finishing that sketch. I'm now going to go to extrude, and when there's only one profile available and you go extrude, it automatically selects it because there's nothing else you could be doing. And then I'm going to select here direction 2, which obviously shoots it back 3mm. Now normally when you go backwards you're removing material. This is the same way you remove material. Which is why the cut option is selected, but I want to actually create material, so I'm just going to select the create option instead. Clicking OK, and I now have a smaller circle on the top of one end. Okay. I'm now going to go to my hole tool, and I'm going to select first of all just somewhere near that circle, and then afterwards I'm going to then straight away select the curve edge, and what it does is it automatically places this circle in concentricity with the existing one, which means in the middle. The middle of this circle is now the middle of this circle, the first one. So they're perfectly synced together. I'm going to change the size of this to about 2.5. So I've got a bit of thickness around the edge so it won't snap so easily. Clicking OK, and now have a hole, which is exactly what I wanted. Awesome. So this is finished. This is my part file finished. At this point I would normally go to the iPro button and go Save, and when you create a project file, it automatically saves in a whole kind of sequence. I'll call this Snowflake. Snowflake 1. Okay? At this point, this is where I would go, well, if I want to create something more complex and I've got more than a double lesson left, I can do so. This is the hardest part. If I wanted to just do and keep my single design one, you can also do that. There's lots of things you can do to edit your design. For example, if I go to the end of part and I drag it back up to that first extrusion, like so, then select the fillet tool. I'm going to change the radius to 0.5, and then I'm going to just select on a whole bunch of these curves in here, as you can see. Unfortunately, there's no super fast way of doing this. The first time you do it, you just got to do it. However, because whoops, I didn't mean to do that one. Because I have got everything going to be kind of rotated around, remember not to do them on this edge, you want to just do the other edge, and they only want to be the ones that you can see as a curve from the front face. Then you can kind of have a bit of fun with your shape. Now I'm going to also do this one, but I'm going to change the size of this one. I clicked the click to add option, so I could add a few more. I'm going to change that to 3mm, so you can see you get a nice big curve. And then I'm going to click tick, and it will apply all those fillets, we call them. Now dragging my end of part back down, and you can see now that that's been applied to the whole shape, so they all have those nice curves, for example. Alright, I'll leave that as is. If you want to be more creative, you can. Obviously, the more creative you are, the better. And there'll be another video in a second. Well done.